Hi, this is Ashok Alshala, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, Kakatiya Government College from Hanamkonda, Warangal Urban District, Telangana State, India. See, and this session we will going to discuss about the third sem practicals in Common Core syllabus in Telangana State. Third sem practicals. In this, we have the preparations, organic synthesis. Organic preparations are there. In that, the first one is the acetylation of salicylic acid, or in another way, preparation of aspirin. And other important is the benzoylation of aniline, or preparation of benzoylide that we're going to discuss in this session. And now let us see, this is going to be the 3D structure of the aspirin. This is going to be the benzene ring, and the white colored one is the hydrogen, and this is going to be the C double bond O carboxylic acid group. The red colored one is said to be the oxygens, and the white colored bonds are said to be hydrogens. This is going to be the 3D structure of aspirin or acetyl salicylic acid, which is a common name for, which is a chemical name for the aspirin. Now let us discuss then what is going to be do in the preparation of aspirin in our laboratory in undergraduate level. Now let us see, before going to this, let us see the history of the aspirin. What is the history of the aspirin? Let us see. Aspirin, acetyl salicylic acid, is a synthetic organic derived from salicylic acid. Salicylic acid is a natural product found in the bark of the willow tree and was used by the ancient Greeks and Native Americans, among others, to counter fever and pain. However, salicylic acid is bitter and irritates the stomach. A German chemist named Felix Hoffmann is credited with being the first to synthesize aspirin in 1897. Hoffmann's father had severe arthritis but could not tolerate salicylic acid he was taking for a pain relief. The name given for Hoffmann's new compound was aspirin. Apparently, this comes from acetylation A together with spirin, part of name of meadowsweet, Sphaeria almoria, a plant rich in salicylates. Friedrich Bayer, the employer of Hoffmann, patented the name and began marketing the product in 1899. It was a huge success and the sales grew rapidly. Bayer's company, set up by himself, is generally reckoned to have been the first pharmaceutical company, and the production of aspirin is generally accepted to have laid the foundation of the modern pharmaceutical industry. In this experiment, you will synthesize aspirin, acetyl salicylic acid, whose molecular formula is C9H8O4. Purify it and determine the percentage of yield. The purity of the product will be confirmed by qualitative analysis and measuring its melting points. The reaction that used for the synthesis is shown below. In this reaction, an excess of acetic anhydride is added to a measured mass of salicylic acid in the presence of a catalyst. In general, it is sulfuric acid. The mixture is heated to form the acetyl salicylic acid and acetic acid. After the reaction takes place, water is added to destroy the excess acetic anhydride and cause the product to crystallize. The aspirin then collected, purified and recrystallized, purified by recrystallization, and its melting temperature measured. See, this is the reaction. How does it happen? Now you can observe. See, this is going to be the salicylic acid, that is nothing but orthohydroxybenzoic acid. This is going to be the benzoic acid moiety, and at ortho position there is OH group there. That's why it is called orthohydroxybenzoic acid. And this, you know, this is going to be the acetic anhydride, which is formed by the dehydration of acetic acid when both are reacted in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid. Here you can use concentrated sulfuric acid. That is going to be the concentrated sulfuric acid we're going to use. That is here, the concentrated sulfuric acid is used here. And in presence of this concentrated sulfuric acid, and this here, the OH group here, you know, see this OH group is acetylated with this one, so that you will get this compound, and this OH is taken by and this one, so that you will get this acetic acid. And in this way, acetylation of the salicylic acid gives acetyl salicylic acid, which is commonly called as aspirin, which is commonly called as the aspirin. Now let us see what is the mechanism of the reaction. This is in the presence of a concentrated sulfuric acid or acid catalyst. In general, we use concentrated sulfuric acid. Acetic anhydride, this one. First of all, this undergo protonation. This oxygen undergo protonation, and so that here it is a positive charge, here it is a positive charge, and after getting the positive charge on the oxygen, there is some changes takes place where this is going to be the OH, and here this is going to be the plus charge is here, and here you can observe there is a plus charge on the carbon, and that is going to be the acts as a nucleophile, where the nucleophilic, or this is going to be the nucleophilic center, and the nucleophile is going to add here. And the nucleophile, why it acts as a nucleophile? See, in the, you know that in the water, like here it is OH, and for another hydrogen this moiety is there, and there is a 2 lone pair of electrons, one, but that is that's what acts as a nucleophile, and this is going to attack on the nucleophilic center of acetic anhydride. So that after adding this one, attacking this one, in the same time there is a loss of proton here, it is you observe, and here after attacking this one, then some changes takes place. You can observe here this bond is shifted to here, and this bond shifted to here, and this is going to be the negative charge, and the proton that comes from here, that is taken by this moiety, and you will get the compound is what is called as acetic acid. Another moiety you can get acetyl salicylic acid, and this proton that is taken by from acid, again it is released into the reaction. In this way, the acetylation of the salicylic acid is carried, and you will get the acetyl salicylic acid. Now let us see what are the safety conditions that can be taken into consideration during this experiment. We should wear goggles throughout this experiment. Why? Because any spitting, that is, if it happens, that may causes the damage to our eyes. This experiment uses salicylic acid, acetic anhydride, phosphoric acid, or otherwise I told you concentrated sulfuric acid. The salicylic acid and aspirin may cause irritation to your skin or eyes, but are basically not hazardous. An excess of this can be disposed of in the sink, or if packaged in the trash. If you spill some, wipe it up with a wet paper towel and throw the towel in the trash. The acetic anhydride and sulfuric acid can cause bad burns. Use them only in the hood, and be sure the hood fan is on. Wear gloves when using these chemicals. Excess chemicals must be disposed of in the plastic tub of water. This will convert the acetic anhydride to vinegar and dilute the sulfuric acid. If you spill a lot of either of these, notify your instructor. Let us see what is the procedure to carry. Let us see what is the procedure to carry. Let us see what is the procedure to carry for the synthesis or the preparation of aspirin in the laboratory. Put on your chemicals chemical splash proof safety goggles. Adding the starting material. How to add the first you have to use the safety glasses and wear an apron and all your the safety materials in the laboratory. Adding the starting material. How to add the starting material in the reaction mixture? Using a weighing boat, weigh out 5 grams plus or minus 0.01 grams of salicylic acid. Transfer this to a 125 ml Erlenmeyer flask using a powder funnel. Erlenmeyer flask is like a round bottom flask. Record this mass on the data sheet. Using the graduated cylinder located under the hood, measure about 7 ml of acetic anhydride and add this to the flask. Be sure to do this in the wood and wearing your goggles. Don't let the acetic anhydride contact your skin and don't get the vapors in your eyes. Carefully add 8 drops of concentrated sulfuric acid of about 18 molarity sulfuric acid, a catalyst to the flask. Then third step is heating the starting materials. At your lab bench, assemble a hot water bath using a 600 to 800 ml beaker and place the flask in the water bath as shown in the figure. Make sure that the water bath is located directly under the hood at your lab bench. Place the flask in the water bath and heat. After the water begins to boil, heat for an additional 15 minutes. Note, the hot water bath will be used again later in the procedure. See, this is going to be the how to heat. And here, this is going to be the water bath, say 600 to 800 ml beaker in which the water is poured and kept on a stand. And here, this is going to be the flask. You can use this flask like conical flask or a round bottom flask. And then here, then keep this in the hot water for about 15 to 20 minutes. And this is some, and according to in our lab, we can take the setup of this one. And this is a general one. This is going to the Bunsen burner where the heat is supplied to the beaker. And in the hot water, it is going to be the flask. Then cooling the reaction mixture. After 15-20 minutes of heating in the water bath, then we have to cool the reaction mixture. How does, after heating, turn the Bunsen burner off and carefully remove the flask from the water bath. Remember, it is too hot and handle it care. And allow the flask and contents to cool on the lab bench for about 3 minutes. After the flask has cooled for about 3 minutes, cautiously add 15 ml of room temperature water to the flask, that is normal water, to facilitate the decomposition of the excess acetic anhydride. Swirl the flask to mix the content. Then just shake it. Label your flask containing the reaction mixture and place it in an ice bath and cool until the crystallization of aspirin appears complete. Approximately, you have to keep the flask in the ice bath about 15 minutes. If crystals do not appear, you can scratch the walls of the flask with a stirring rod to induce the crystallization. Then the fifth step is isolating the product. How to isolate the product? Collect the solid aspirin using a Buchner funnel and filter paper as shown in figure 2. Be sure to seat the filter paper in the filter paper with a small amount of the water. Rinse the flask twice with 3 ml of ice cold water to remove any residual crystals. Discard the filtrate left in the filter flask into the water waste container and under the hood. Let us see how to isolate this. This is going to be the Buchner funnel. Buchner funnel. This is going to be the flask, filter flask, and it is for the vacuum, what I meant to say, for a vacuum pump, and this is a rubber cup, filter paper, and this is going to be a funnel, cubic filter paper, and here pour the reaction mixture so that all the liquids comes out here, and crystals of the aspirin will be what I meant to say, stayed here itself. This is suction filtration. Now then the sixth step, recrystallizing the aspirin. Transfer as much of the solid as possible from the Buchner funnel to a clean, dry 250 ml beaker. Add 10 ml of 95% ethanol to the beaker, and if necessary, warm, do not boil the mixture in the water bath to dissolve the crystals. If the crystal do not dissolve, add 2 ml more of ethanol and continue to warm the mixture to dissolve the crystals. When the crystals are all dissolved, add 10 ml of deionized water. Cover the beaker with a watch glass and all the solution to cool slowly on the lab bench undisturbed for about 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes cooling on the lab bench, complete the crystallization by placing the beaker and contents in the ice bath. Label your beaker. Why we have to label our beaker? Because the different students are there. Many students will do the experiment, so that to recognize your beaker, you have to label according to your name or rule number, anything, etc. Crystal should be formed. If an oil appears instead of a solid, reheat the beaker in the hot water bath until the oil disappears. If crystals do not appear, you can scratch the bottom of the beaker with a stirring rod to induce crystallization. Then the next step is the drying the purified aspirin. How to dry after recrystallization? Using a clean circle of filter paper, collect the purified aspirin by suction filtration as before we have done. Dry the crystals by pulling air through them for about 15 minutes. Discard the filtrate left in the filter flask into the waste container under the hood. Rinse the filter flask with water and discard the rinsed water into the waste container under the hood. Place the aspirin onto a double piece of paper towel and set aside to dry while performing the qualitative analysis of the aspirin. Wash the filter funnel with water and discard the rinse water into the waste container under the hood. Next, analyzing the aspirin quality. Then how much purity it was. The presence of unreacted salicylic acid in the synthesized aspirin can be detected with the iron 3 chloride test. Add about 1 ml of deionized water to 5 clean 10 centimeter test tubes. Using a clean stirring rod, place a crystal of salicylic acid into the first test tube. In the second, place a crystal of powdered commercial aspirin. And in the third, place a crystal of your synthesized aspirin. The fourth test tube is the control. To each test tube, add 1 drop of iron 3 chloride solution. Shake each test tube and observe the color produced. Record your observation and conclusions on the data sheet. Measure the melting point range of your synthesized aspirin with the melting, that is with the melt MP apparatus as demonstrated by your lab instructor, and compare to the value for pure aspirin of 138 to 140 centigrade. Record the melting temperature on the data sheet. Then the ninth step is calculating the percentage of yield of aspirin that you synthesize. Weigh the aspirin and calculate the theoretical yield. Note that the acetic anhydride is in excess and the salicylic acid is the limiting reagent. Use the salicylic acid to calculate the theoretical yield. Based on your percent yield, iron 3 chloride test, and the measured melting point range, draw conclusion about the success of your synthesis. Place your aspirin in a jar labeled according to your name or hall ticket number or any other as a student preparation. This is the what you say, calculation of, or that is the synthesis of what I mean to say, aspirin, or that is acetylation of the salicylic acid. Because you know that this pandemic COVID-19, you are unable to perform this experiment in the laboratory for your convenient. Here I am providing you a YouTube link where the salicylic acid is prepared in the laboratory in the undergraduate level. You can watch this one. This is to neutralize, convert excess of acetic anhydride to acetic acid. See, this is going to be the acetyl salicylic acid preparation that you have seen in the YouTube. You can also watch again how to do this one, and during it is helpful during in your lab session. Now let us go for the another one that is going to be the what is called as the another synthesis that is going to be the that is that is synthesis of benzoylide. That is synthesis of benzoylide that we are going to discuss now. Now let us see how does it is synthesized. This is going to be the benzoylide, and this is one benzene ring, this is another benzene ring, this is going to be the oxygen, and here this is going to be the oxygen nitrogen. Let us see what is its structure also. This is another way we are doing that benzylation of aniline. When aniline is benzoylated, that we will give the benzonylide. This is going to be the benzylation of this is aniline. This is going to be the benzoyl group. Benzylation of aniline or benzonyline. Benzonylide is this is the compound. Let us see how to do. What is the principle involved here? Insertion of benzoyl moiety instead of an active hydrogen atom. Instead of an active hydrogen atom present in hydroxyl group primary or secondary primary amines or secondary amino group is usually termed as benzylation reaction. This particular reaction essentially resembles to the phenomenon of acetylation, except that in the specific instance, the reagent is benzyl chloride reacts in the presence of pyridine or 10% NaOH and not benzoic anhydride. The amines are more soluble in acid than sodium hydroxide. The reaction preferably between benzyl chloride and amine. The preparation of benzonylide neutralizes the liberated HCl and also catalyzes the reaction. Let us see what is the aim. Aim is to prepare benzonylide from aniline. What is the reaction? This is going to be a reaction. This is aniline and benzoyl chloride in presence of a base. In general, we use it as the sodium hydroxide. You will get benzonylide and this is HCl. Then what actually happens, you can observe here. That is going to be hydrogen of here, one hydrogen of from here, and takes the hydrogen chlorine, and it will be eliminated in the form of HCl. And that is going to be the reaction that occurs. Then how does it happens? Let us see what is the mechanism of the reaction. See, this is going to be the aniline, where like in ammonia there is a lone pair of electron here. During the reaction in presence of a base, what happens? The pi bond, this is going to the benzoyl chloride, and the pi bond between the carbon and oxygen, here it is more attracted towards oxygen, that's why it get the positive charge, sorry, negative charge, and this will get the positive charge. That's why, and this going to this lone pair of electron, which acts as a nucleophile and going to attack here. And here what happens, you can observe, this is going to be that is going to be the oxygen will get the negative charge, and this positive charge is going to be transferred to the nitrogen, where the nitrogen valence is 4. That's why it is get the positive charge. Now this again some rearrangement takes place, that is some changes takes place, and here hydrogen and here this HCl is removed like this, and you will get N-phenyl benzamide in another way, which is called as benzonylide or benzylation of aniline. This is going to be the benzoyl group. What are the requirements? Aniline we need 2 ml, and aniline we need 2 ml, 10% sodium hydroxide 30 ml, benzyl chloride 3 ml, and cold water, hot alcohol. Apparatus: conical flask, 250 ml Buchner funnel, measuring cylinder, and other one is said to be the filter paper. Then what is the procedure to carry out this one? Place 2 ml, around 2.08 grams of aniline in 30 ml aniline 30 ml of 10% NaOH solution in 250 ml conical flask. Then add 3 ml, around 3.4 grams of benzoyl chloride slowly with vigorous shaking. Cork the flask and shake for further 15 to 20 minutes. Place the reaction mixture in cold water. Filter the crude benzoylide with suction on a Buchner funnel. Wash with cold water and crystallize. Dry the product and calculate the percentage. Let us see how to do the calculation. Here the limiting reagent is aniline, hence yield should be calculated from its amount taken. The molecular formula of the aniline is C6H7N. Molecular formula of benzoylide is C13H11ON. Molecular weight of aniline is 93 grams per mole and molecular weight of benzoylide is 197 grams per mole. Theoretical yield 93 grams of aniline forms 197 gram yield when the reaction is carried 100%. Therefore, 2.08 grams of 2 ml aniline will form how much amount? That is, you have to calculate how much required. Benzoylide equal to 197, that is the calculation. 197 into 2.08 by 93 equal to 4.4 grams. That is theoretical yield. That is, if the reaction is carried 100%, you will get 4.4 grams. Then how much the practical yield, you have to calculate in this way. And here that is going to be the practical or theoretical yield into 200. That will get the what is the percentage of the yield during our reaction. Then conclusion. Benzoyl lead was synthesized and the percentage yield was found to be, that is percentage that we calculated in the previous slide. Then previous slide we discussed that how to calculate. This is going to be our conclusion. Now what are the reference for all these things is Laboratory Manual of Organic Chemistry by Raj K. Bansal, Practical Organic Chemistry by Frederick George Mann and Bernard Charles Saunders, published by Long and Inclusive 4th edition. Another one is the College Practical by V.K. Ahluwalia, Sunita Dhingra, published by University Press, India Private Limited in 2005. These are the references I used for preparing this one. Now let us see, similar to aspirin, I told you that because of this pandemic COVID-19 situation, we are unable to perform this laboratory video. For that, for use of you, I will give you a link. Actually, I made a link for you, and that link I will provide you.